transport and communication systems were necessary during the colonial period. This is because transport and communication facilitate the communication from one area to another, as it is used in nowadays. So even during the colonial period, colonialists, in order to fulfill their economic demands, transport and communication were necessary during the colonial period. The aims of introducing these transport and communication during the colonial period. First is to transport raw materials. They produce the raw materials to interior area. So in order to reach at the coastal area, then to be shipped to Europe, they had to build, it can be railway or roads, so as to facilitate, to make it easier for them to transport the raw materials, so as it can fulfill their industries to their metropolitan countries. Another is to facilitate communication. As we said before, that transport and communication facilitate the communication, that we can communicate from one place to another through roads and railway. Another is to transport soldiers. Soldiers here were transported from one plantation place to another, maybe to the mining sector to another, in order to suppress resistance which may be raised from Africans. So colonial soldiers were very crucial during that time in order to make sure that Africans were not resisting to colonial system or colonial government. Another uses or aim which made colonialists to come up with the transport and communication is to transport migrant laborers. Migrant laborers, they were laborers who were moving from one place to another. The common area in Tanzania during the colonial were Kigoma. Labor were moved from Kigoma, also from Dodoma. Then they were transported to Tanga, to work in the Seso plantation, also to Morogoro, also to Tabora, like that. So another uses which also were crucial is to transport the migrant laborers. Another one is to transport colonial administrators in order to administer the colonialism, to ensure that there is a total colonialism. Colonial rulers were moved from one place to another by using transports, railways, maybe it's railway, be it roads, and etc. The next subtopic is colonial labor force. These were among Africans who were worked in the colonial activities. These were people who were among Africans who worked in the colonial sectors. Colonial, maybe mining, maybe colonial agriculture, colonial to build railways, to build roads, or government offices and prisons. These work were done by Africans. These we call colonial labor force. Ways used by colonialists to obtain colonial labors. First, they use the force. They use the force. Here, they tell us that white settlers use the force in their colonial to ensure that they get laborers to work in their activities. For instance, in some areas like in Congo, villagers were forced to collect with laborers, and those who refused to do so, they were cutting their hands. That is, they used the force to work on their colonial projects. Another is introduction of taxation. Colonialists introduced the tax in form of money, and Africans, they were not able to get money unless they work in the colonial sectors, be it in farms, be it in mining sectors. So they have to be employed in to the colonial sectors so they can get money in order to pay tax. That is how colonialists used it to obtain labor. And tax where it was necessary for everyone to pay. Another is introduction of labor reserve. Some parts of the colony were identified as labor reserves, forcing them to continue depending on subsistence agriculture for their livelihood. Example, in Tanganyika, this occurred in Rukwa, Ruvuma, and Dodoma. So they chose some areas, then they made them to be as a labor reserves in order to ensure the good supply of labor in their colonial projects. Another, the use of feudal relation. The use of feudal relations. Some Africans were allowed to stay on settlers' farm and plantation in exchange for labor service, although they were allowed to make use of land for their benefits. That is like feudalism system that some Africa during the colonial period, some Africans were allowed to stay to the colonial master's land, then they used some land for their benefits, just a few land, but also they were needed to work on their colonial masters' farms. Another is through the payment of low wages. Africans were paid a low wages. So in order for Africans to make sure that they satisfy their needs, they have to work more and more and more. That is how they benefited it was very beneficial to European, as they ensured the constant of labor. The next, last but not the least part is labor migration. Labor migration. There are types of labor, but during the colonial economy, we normally focus on labor migration. This refers to the system of shifting labor force from one area to another, depending on the need of the colonial master. That is, laborers or Africans were moved from one area to another, and in order to work to the colonial sectors, that is, they were shifted. These normally known as migrant labor. These laborers, we know them, and they are known as migrant laborers. They are mostly used in large plantation and mining industries or mining sectors. That is, large plantation agriculture and mining industries preferred migrant labor. Then the question comes, why mining sectors or mining industries and plantation agriculture preferred migrant labor rather than other types of labor? The reason is, First, they were cheap. Migrant labor were cheap. This migrant labor left their families at home and producing their own means of subsistence due to the low wages paid to them. They were unable at advance and were exploited to the maximum. So, since they were left their family and then they walked to the far place from their homeland, it was able for them to agree what they were paid. So they were paid just low wages and they were not allowed, or even they don't have any power to resist against the colonialist. Another one why is in order to avoid resistance. Since migrant labor moved from different areas, take an example to one labor from maybe Rukwa, from Dodoma, from Kigoma, they are shifted to, let's say, Morogoro. They have different background, they use different languages, so it was difficult for them to resist against the colonial because they don't even understand by themselves. Another is to ensure the constant supply of labor. To ensure the constant supply of labor. Also, migrant labor remained unskilled. Migrant labor remained unskilled. This is due to the season, as they stayed to the working place for just a season. This was due to the seasonal or temporary nature of employment. Hence, it was easy to exploit them because they were not skilled. Another, labor acted as a source of markets. Migrant labor were shifted from their workplace and they were placed in a single area. They don't know even the environment, they don't know where to get any needs. So it was necessary for them to need goods from the colonial masters. So when they want to buy anything, they have to ask to the colonial masters. Therefore, colonialists benefited them as they got market. I think from that up to that, you have got me, and I can say I'm done about the colonial economy. Now it's a quiz time. Think by yourself, what are the positive effects of transport and communication to Africans that after the colonialism they left us? I tried to analyze the questions. They left us with transport and communications facilities. It can be railways or roads, something like that. So what are the positive effects of colonial transport and communication to us Africans? Thank you for watching.